There are now multiple reports that the Department of Justice has inquired with Nikola.
Let me ask you a question. What's the difference between a visionary thinker selling a daring view of the future and a con artist? In a world where not everything is as rosy as it seems, there will always be people with hidden interests, companies doing backdoor deals, and cons built on dozens of lies. So what separates people like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk from the Elizabeth Holmes and Bernie Madoffs of the world? How do you distinguish between the two of them? Well, the truth is, most people can't. Part 1. Fake it until you make it. Rome wasn't built in a day, but when you're trying to change the world, you might have to take some shortcuts. Nikola was originally founded back in 2014 with the goal of developing electric and hydro-powered trucks and utility vehicles. Since 2016, the company has mainly been known for unveiling a slew of prototypes and design concepts for their future vehicles. Given how early stage Nikola is, the company has continually faced lots of criticism on the viability of their plans and what they are proposing. In the face of growing skepticism over the functionality of their truck, Nikola staged a video called Nikola 1 in motion, which showed the semi-truck cruising down a road at a high rate of speed. However, text messages from a former employee revealed that the video was in fact an elaborate trick. Nikola had the truck towed to the top of a hill on a remote stretch of road in the desert and simply filmed it rolling down the hill. The company disguised the fact that the vehicle had no working engine by filming it in such a way that it appeared it was being driven. An anonymous insider at the company disclosed to the Financial Times that Nikola had even edited the video to make the terrain look flat. By having a promotional video showing the Nikola 1 in motion, the company was ultimately able to raise more interest from investors and potential customers. In another instance, Nikola held an unveiling for the Nikola 1 Semi, but lots of the claims and demonstrations made in the event turned out to be deceptive.
So how long have you been working on this? Because this is a fully functioning truck right here that we're sitting in.
That they unveil are just vehicles that don't actually function. There's a fully functioning vehicle, which is really incredible. You can go through, we can change out
While Trevor claimed the Nikola 1's electrical systems were fully functioning, this wasn't quite true. According to a source who worked closely on the project, a cable was snaked up from under the stage through the floor to power the cabin screens, and the screens had been loaded the day before with largely static web pages. In contrast to what Trevor and the company said, the truck could not drive, or even power itself for that matter. Following this event, Nikola was able to ink partnerships with fuel cell and hydrogen partners. With all this to say, it appears that Nikola has a history of using deception to try and trick investors and the outside world into thinking they are further along in their development than they actually are. And as you will see, for months these practices would go unnoticed and ultimately pay off in a big way. Part 2. Stock market madness. While still in the prototype stage with no actual manufactured vehicles, in March of 2020, Nikola decided to go public on the stock market through a shell company. This helped them skip over the conventional IPO process. When the company announced this, the shares started at around $10. Even though Nikola was still in the prototype phase, many retail investors saw potential in the company being able to solve many of the problems currently found in the electric trucking market. While Tesla's Semi promised to have a range of 500 miles, Nikola claimed their Semi would have a range of 750 miles. In addition to this, Nikola's hydrogen electric Semi would only take 10 to 15 minutes to refuel, whereas other battery-powered Semis take several hours to recharge. Due to these logical advantages, Nikola has had a spike of interest from businesses such as the brewing company Anheuser-Busch, planning to order up to 800 semis, and the waste management company Republic Services, who requested 2,500 electric garbage trucks. These substantial orders, alongside a huge bull market for electric vehicle stocks, helped in propelling Nikola's stock up over 700% to an all-time high of $79. At this peak price, Nikola's market cap reached over $30 billion, valuing the company as being worth more than Ford Motors, Fiat, and Chrysler, something Trevor was excited to share on Twitter. However, this euphoria wouldn't last long. Moving into July, Nikola's stock has been sold off substantially, and there's been a good reason for that. Recent updates from the company have raised concerns that its production timeline may be far too ambitious. In addition to posting a considerably wider loss than anticipated in their second quarter results, the company gave worryingly few details about its progress during the conference call. Nikola hasn't brought in any new revenue since their announced pre-order deals, and didn't give any updates on those pre-orders. The company also hasn't found a manufacturing partner for its highly anticipated Badger pickup truck. A few weeks ago, Jessica Kirsch, an electric vehicle commenter, drove to Nikola's manufacturing site, which is supposed to start production next year, and found a large plot of dirt and an empty parking lot. With the company's stock plunging and all this criticism, things were looking bad for Nikola and Trevor, but just when you thought the day of reckoning was here, things took a turn for the best for the company, with their biggest news to date. Part 3. Partnering with the best. Every now and then, a story comes around that exposes how even the experts can get tricked. Theranos was able to ink partnerships with Safeway, Walgreens, and Cleveland Clinic, and staff its board with well-known leaders. It was only a matter of time before history would repeat itself. In recent months, Tesla's stock surged to over $2,000 before their stock split, giving the company a market cap of over $400 billion, more than Ford, General Motors, Daimler, and Fiat combined. This relentless Tesla rally pressured GM and other traditional automakers to try and catch up in the ongoing EV race. On the morning of September the 8th, 2020, Nikola announced a strategic manufacturing partnership with General Motors. For many, the deal was seen as long-awaited validation for Nikola, which to date had mainly presented little but prototypes, renderings, and a heap of promises. After all, General Motors is one of the largest auto manufacturers in the world and has been in business for over 100 years. But why would GM even sign with Nikola at all if it's all smoke and mirrors? On the day of the announcement, when the GM CEO was asked what technology GM would get out of the deal, she couldn't name a single thing. Economically from the deal, GM would get $2 billion in stock, or put differently, an 11% stake in Nikola. In exchange, Nikola would get non-cash contributions from GM, such as engineering and validating a truck for Nikola. In other words, GM could begin selling shares of Nikola before a single truck rolls off the line, and all they had to do was agree to use their fuel cell technology and battery system to manufacture Nikola's vehicles, two things Nikola had most likely not yet developed themselves. Trevor is perceived by many as a forward-thinking, fresh, visionary entrepreneur capable of rivaling Elon Musk. But in GM's attempt to keep up with Elon Musk, they may have gotten into bed with someone who is more the likes of Elizabeth Holmes. Nikola's stock rose almost 40% following the GM announcement. However, the hype wouldn't last long. It appeared something gloomy was on the horizon for Nikola. Part 4. The future. Shortly after announcing this deal with General Motors, Hindenburg Research, a short seller of Nikola, released a report outlining a lot of the points I mentioned in this video on why they think Nikola is a company built on lies and why they believe the founder Trevor Milton is a fraud. After releasing this report, Nikola saw its stock plunge more than 8% that same day. Facing growing scrutiny and fraud allegations, Trevor Milton deleted his Twitter account and ultimately decided to resign from the company. The resignation came only 10 days after the report was released. In a final statement after announcing his resignation, Trevor said, quote, "Nikola is truly in my blood and always will be, and the focus should be on the company and its world-changing mission, not me. With the news of Trevor resigning, Nikola's stock price has continued to plunge downward. Although, leaving the company isn't really the end of the world for Trevor, given he made sure he wouldn't go down with the ship. To date, Trevor cashed out $70 million around the IPO and amended his share lockup from 1 year to 180 days. And if he were to be fired, his equity awards immediately vest, and he is entitled to collect $20 million over 2 years. In other words, Trevor Milton has already laid the groundwork to extract hundreds of millions of dollars from Nikola, and is able to do so years before ever delivering on his promises. While Trevor is now gone from the company, Hindenburg and other short sellers believe this is only the beginning of all the scrutiny the company will face. As more information about the company's lies and deceptions get released, it will only get worse. Following the release of Hindenburg's research report, Nikola is now being investigated by the SEC based on the fraud claims brought forward. This has many people wondering what the future of the company will look like. Nikola is both a sign of the times and a story for the ages. Will Nikola go up in smoke, or defy the odds and be successful long term? Only time will tell how the ending to this story plays out. And there you have it, the story of Nikola. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit the like button and comment down below your thoughts on Nikola. I'm curious to know what you think will happen next. My goal with this channel is to cover the world of business and money in an entertaining way that isn't currently available. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in and you'd want to tune in for more, hit the subscribe button to stay tuned for future videos. And with all of that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day.